incarnation as literary incarnation. And then we saw that even he becomes confused when he is going through that. And then that's how the Narad Muni appears. And he is asking very uh, intimately, honestly about his life's delay, the dilemma she is going through. And then we see that Narad Muni very expertly gives the guidance, and then that's how the Srimad Bhagavatam appears. So first the Narad Muni appears, and then Srimad Bhagavatam appears. And then that's how was the first question of Narad Muni. That are you happy with considering your body and mind as yourself? So we see that all the difficulties, illusions, they come from the identification of this body and mind. And then we saw that anybody can be disillusioned, that anybody can be in confused state, that one may be very learned, one may be in whatever situation, but then he can be illusioned. So here neither Vyasadevi is on that level, but then to give the chance to Srimad Bhagavatam in this world, all these personalities, they come together for the benefit of the whole world. And then here we saw the qualifications of Guru as Vyasadeva is glorifying Narad Muni. Yeah. And he gave the instruction that you please glorify Supreme Lord with exclusive attention. And then we saw the difference between dead and live literature. Remember Shloka? Na yad vachas chitta padam harer yasho. So that is the dead and live literature. Yeah. Then we saw the direct and stepwise. And then Narad Muni was talking about the influence of devotionally surcharged ambience created by 4 Bhaktivedantas. And that's how he starts his life story. And we see also that this is the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, that Narad Muni is talking about his own personal life. Now the Bhagavatam is about Lord or about devotees?
About the devotees.
Huh?
About the devotees.
About the devotees. Can somebody take care of this? This is like a crying child of a brahmachari. Give it to somebody from back. So, where are we? Bhagavatam is for the devotees, or description of devotees or Lord?
Bhagavatam is only related to the Lord. So it may be devotees may be last time.
Okay. So Bhagavatam describes more of devotees and in connection with the Lord. The Lord has to be there. But then if you see, the 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam talks about the appearance of Narsimadev. In that, Narsimadev comes only in one chapter. Other chapters are Prahlad Maharaj, teachings of Prahlad Maharaj, schoolmates, and then so many things. Hiranyakashipu terrorized the universe. So we see that Bhagavatam is giving us association of these great personalities so that we can be influenced and get attracted to Krishna. So here also we see the same thing, that hearing in such powerful surcharged ambience created devotional mood in the heart of Narad Muni. Yeah. was talking about the, so this is how we land in chapter 6, conversation between Narada and Vyasadeva. So here we see that personal story of Narad Muni is being told. Is it a self-glorification Narad Muni is doing? In the beginning of Bhagavatam only, that, like that? No, it is not a self-glorification. Why? Because the whole thing is regarding how he was blessed by the devotees association and how he became the associate of the Lord. So this is not a self-glorification. This is a it's a personal experience of that association. And this is very important, specifically nowadays. In Vedic area, if you see Vedic times, people used to listen having the Vedas as the authority. But in modern days, Vedas authority has no meaning only now. People never talk about Vedas as authority. Now, what has become authority? Scientists have become authority. When you quote Einstein, Newton, that's how we quote in our device and things like that. Then the people are, if the Einstein is telling, then that means, if Einstein is telling to read Bhagavad Gita, then Bhagavad Gita has to be. If we say that Vedas, it's a Nigama Kalpataror Galitam Phalam, they don't understand that. So the modern, the mentality is that science has become the authority. But if you see now, like now specifically this current age which is going on, even the science also people have given away. They don't consider science also as a authority because so many scams are there and so much of trouble created. So now even if you give scientific data, you have seen in device now, people they look as if in sky only. They have, it's like, even if you give 10 scientists, it's like, it's okay for them like that. So we see that this is called as a postmodern era. So postmodern era, neither they are accepting the authority of Vedas, neither the science. Now their authority is their experience. Whatever they feel, that they accept. And if they are influenced by others' experience, that also they accept. And that's how you see, if you have to go and purchase something from online, generally people, what they do? They see reviews, others' experience. That gives them faith that okay, this product is good. So the postmodern mentality is this, that when they see experience either of themselves or somebody else, then that gives them faith to follow that particular thing. So this is not only the postmodern, that has become very nowadays very much prevalent, but that is one of the factor which brings faith. And this is illustrated here by the conversation of Narad Muni and Vyasadeva. So Narad Muni is talking about his personal life, and Vedavyas also is, although he is learned, he has written Vedas, Mahabharata, Puranas, but he also is very interested in knowing personal story of his own guru, like that. And Narad Muni is also very enthusiastically telling that story. So that shows that it's a very profound effect happens when we hear the life experience of devotees, how they have got Krishna consciousness and how they have performed that. So both things, they inspire hearer or reader of that. So here we see Narad Muni is telling about his personal life in great detail. Yeah. So we go to the first shloka. Suta uvacha evam nishamya bhagavan devarshe janma karma cha bhuya papracha tam brahman vyasaha satyavati sutah. Somebody read translation loudly.
Suta said, O Brahmanas, thus hearing all about Sri Narada's birth and activities, Vyasadeva, the incarnation of God and son of Satyavati, inquired as follows.
Yeah. Text 2. Vyasa uvacha भिक्षुभिर्विप्रवसे ते विज्ञानादेदृष्टिस्तव वर्तमानो वयस्याद्ये ततः किं करोद्भवान्. So here, okay, somebody.
Vyasadeva said, Sri Vyasadeva said, what did you, Narada, do after the departure of the great sages who had instructed you in scientific transcendental knowledge before the beginning of your present birth?
Yeah, so here Vyasadeva starts asking the 4 questions to Narad Muni. So text 2, 3rd and 4th. He asks these 4 questions to Narad Muni and then Narad Muni answers them in consecutive verses. Text 2, he is asking, what did you do after the departure of sages? So that is the first question asked by Vyasadeva. And this question, as we see here in the purport, Prabhupada writes, the desire to inquire from the spiritual master is an essential factor to the progressive path. This process is technically known as Sadharma Pruchha. That this Sadharma Pruchha is discussed in Nectar of Devotion. Rupa Goswami talks about that this is one of the process of practicing Krishna consciousness. Sadharma Pruchha means asking about the nature of the Lord, the soul and the relationship. So when we are asking anything related to devotional service on the Lord, then that comes as a Sadharma Pruchha, which is done by disciple unto the spiritual master. So here also Vyasadeva is asking these questions. And we see that this is one very important aspect between these 3 things by which the knowledge is transferred. Which sloka of Bhagavad Gita? Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshete jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshinaha. So here 3 things are there. 1,
submissive inquiry.
Tad vidhi. Kya vidhi hai? Pranipata. Humbly one approaches spiritual master. Pariprashne, that he inquires, he asks questions, gets clarification. And 3rd is Sevaya. So Prabhupada writes that submissive inquiry. So here also we see that Vyasadeva, although he is so much learned, but still he is submissively inquiring from Narad Muni, because that is the way by which we advance in Krishna consciousness. So here, if you go to the Nectar of Devotion, you are able to see. So this is enquiry from the. So this is Nectar of Devotion, talks about Atha Angani. So these are the different limbs of the process of devotional service. Guru Upadashrayastasmat Krishna Dikshadi Shikshanam Vishrambhena Guru Seva Sadhu Vartman Vartmanam. So here the first thing comes as Guru Padashraya. Taking Krishna Diksha and Shiksha from him. And Vishrambhena Guru Seva. And then he said Sadhu Vartmanu Vartmanu. So these are the how it starts. The first thing is, what is the first? So that is the beginning. Guru Padashraya. That's how the devotional service starts. And then the next sloka, he says, Saddharma Pruchha Bhogadi Tyagaha Krishnasya Hetave Nivaso Dwaraka Dau Cha Gangader Api Sannidhau. That Saddharma Pruchha, that is the next thing, inquiring about spiritual subject matter from spiritual master, and then Bhoga Tyaga for Krishna's pleasure. And then it goes on. So this is one thing which Rupa Goswami discusses about the Saddharma Pruchha. So Saddharma Pruchha means asking spiritual master about the spiritual subject matter. So here, this question is very important. In a sense, Vyasadeva is asking, what did you do after the sages they departed? But generally we see in our life also, have you experienced whenever he's always, Gopal Krishna Maharaj is there in the temple. How is the situation? Everybody is like ecstatic, aware, conscious, Mangalarti, Guru Puja, everything is like that. And when Maharaj comes, and automatically the Seva Bhav appears. Automatically the respect for other devotees who are serving Maharaj increases when you see him serving him. And that is natural. That in the presence of spiritually elevated personality, the effect is that something very good comes out of our heart naturally. It happens? It happens. One Prabhupada disciple was telling that he was talking that when they were with Prabhupada, they felt that this is spiritual world, like that they were feeling. He said that we felt that we are in spiritual world only. And then they were having such a nice relationship with each other. And he was telling that. So that is the effect of our devotional service. No, that is because we have come in touch with some great personality. The effect of that personality brings some good qualities. That is natural. What comes is after that. When Maharaj leaves for some other place, then how we behave. Whether we continue the same thing, same ecstasy and same relationship, same consciousness. So that distinguishes a neophyte and practicing devotee. Neophyte means he will be very enthusiastic when his guru is there. When his guru is leading Mangalarti, guru is leading Guru Puja, when guru is giving Bhagavatam, he will be like pure devotee part 2 only. Like that. And everybody will feel that, kya ho gaya inka? But then that is only till the point that very strong association is there. When he leaves, then part 2 starts. But then the practicing devotees differs in this scenario. That whether the spiritual master is personally present or he is physically not there, doesn't make his activities differ or his consciousness differ. So that's how he is asking that what did you do after the Bhaktivedantas left. So we go to the text 3. Swayambhuva kaya vritya vartitam te param vayah katham chedamudastrakshihi kale prapte kalevaram. Somebody read translation.
O son of Brahma, how did you pass your life after initiation, and how did you attain this body, having quit your old one in due course?
Yeah, so here he is asking two questions. First question is asking that how did you pass your life after initiation? So there is a life before initiation and there is life after initiation. So he is asking about that. Second, how did you attain this spiritual body? So these are the two questions asked. So here now he is calling him as O son of Brahma. So now the story is going on. Narad Muni is son of
Maid servant.
maid servant previously. That story is going on. And now he is calling him as a son of Brahma. That shows that he is now taken next birth. So previously he has attained the spiritual form. That was one day before of Brahma's day. This is the second day of Brahma. And then in this day of Brahma, now he has become the son of Brahma through his Manasaputra, that he has come like that. So that's how he is asking that you are talking about far history, and then now how you attain this body. So like that. Okay, next, text 4. Prakalpa-vishayametam smritim te munisattama na hyesha vyavadhat kala esha sarva nirakritihi. So the fourth question he is asking is, how did you remember? Translation, somebody?
O great sage, time annihilates everything in due course. So how is it that this subject matter, which happened prior to this day of Brahma, is still fresh in your memory, undisturbed by time?
Yeah. So he is asking that how did this memory still fresh? So there is a way of asking doubt. Now he is asking a doubt that because this was previous day of Brahma, one day of Brahma is 1000 yuga cycles, and that is like billions and trillions. And now he is talking about the past time happened so many years back. So the doubt comes. Similar doubt was asked by Arjuna. What was his doubt? So how is that? He asked, how can I understand? So can you please enlighten? That's how he asked. So that is the proper way of asking question. So having doubt, no problem. Then which is a good doubt and which is bad doubt? Challenging spirit, okay.
Related to Krishna.
Okay, related to Krishna. Yeah. Brahma Jidnyasa. Otherwise, many times they are Bhayankar Jidnyasa. Okay.
day of Brahma, this happened with him, maid servant. And this day of Brahma is telling, now he became Brahma's.
Yeah, yeah,
In between 1000 Dilyagas were.
yeah, yeah.
Maybe less than 1000. So what happened now on to?
That comes ahead. That he says that when the Brahma slept, along with all other pradhan, everything, he went inside the body of Garbhodaksha Vishnu. And then he stayed there. And then when the Brahmaji got up again, then he moved like that. But then by Krishna's mercy, that remembrance was kept alive.
Is it something like the previous episode happened in the last Dilyaga of previous Brahma's life?
That I don't know, whether it was last, second last or that.
And this conversion also is happening in the current Dilyaga?
I don't
What
know.
is this?
I don't know. Somebody knows? Okay, we'll ask. Generally, the different scriptures, they give some light that when this conversation happened, this, that. Because generally the conversations are repeated again and again in scriptures. Then they tell, oh, that time the conversation happened in this area. So there may be some such description is there, but I don't know. So here, okay, we'll read the purport also. Okay, purport also.
Shri Narad Muni.
That spirit is
Fourth. Purport 4.
As spirit is not annihilated even after the annihilation of the material body, so also spiritual consciousness is not annihilated. Sri Narad developed this spiritual consciousness even when he had his material body in the previous kalpa. Consciousness of the material body means spiritual consciousness expressed through the medium of a material body. This consciousness is inferior, destructible, and perverted. But super consciousness of the supramind in the spiritual plane is as good as the spirit soul and is never annihilated.
Yeah. So here, discussion is about the spiritual consciousness and material consciousness. So, Prabhupada writes that the consciousness of the material body means spiritual consciousness expressed through the medium of material body. Understand? So, there are two types of consciousness. One is spiritual consciousness, another is material consciousness. So, Prabhupada writes in one of the, he was giving class, in one of the class he was telling, he said when you say light, light means sunlight. When you say light, other lights are subservient to that. So, then he says consciousness means Krishna consciousness. So, the way the light means sunlight. So, similarly, consciousness means Krishna consciousness. Other consciousness are either perverted, secondary consciousness, like that. So, real consciousness means Krishna consciousness because that is the natural to the soul. Other things are perverted. So, here we see that the consciousness, material body, that is a material consciousness, means spiritual consciousness expressed through the medium of material body. When the spirit soul comes in this world, then because he is conscious, but now he has bound by the laws here, then that consciousness, which is the light of the soul, it is the expression of the soul, that is the sign of the soul, that is expressed through this material body. So material body looks alive, material body gives all the likings, dislikings. So that is the dim light coming out of that spiritual consciousness. So that consciousness has become materially oriented. like that. But then he says that consciousness, that material consciousness, the consciousness of body is inferior, destructible and perverted. Because this material consciousness which we have is inferior to that spiritual consciousness, and it is destructible also. What consciousness we have, the consciousness is thwarted at the time of death. It is destructible. And it is perverted. It is not pure consciousness. And then he says, but the super consciousness of a supra mind in the spiritual plane is as good as the spirit soul. That means the Krishna consciousness is permanent, as the soul is permanent. So that's why the consciousness of Narad Muni was preserved, because that consciousness was not material. That was spiritual consciousness, awakened. So Prabhupada in other place also he writes that doubting is the sign of intelligence. But then other places also Prabhupada writes, doubting is a sign of intelligence, but doubting authority is sign of destruction. It's like that. So not that all doubts are, so you can doubt about the subject matter, but doubting authority brings destruction. So here, this doubt which he is asking the doubt about the subject matter, not about the authority. So that is the difference between doubt. We can doubt about the subject matter, not about the authority. Text 5. Now 5 to 10, he talks about how the mother departed and how that became the turning point in the life of Narad Muni. Text 5. Narada uvacha bhikshubhir vipravasite vijnanadeshtrabhir mama vartamano vayasyadye tat etadakarasham. Yes.
Sri Narad said, the great sages who had imparted scientific knowledge of transcendence to me departed for other places, and I have to pass my life in this way. In his previous life, when Naradji was impregnated with spiritual knowledge by the grace of the great sages, there was a tangible change in his life, although he was only a boy of 5 years. That is an important symptoms visible after initiation by the bona fide spiritual master. Actual association of devotees brings about a quick change in life for spiritual realization. How it is so acted upon the previous life of Sri Narad Muni is described by and by in this chapter.
Okay, so here we see that there is a tangible change, as Prabhupada writes here. That there is a tangible change after association and initiation, both. So, Prabhupada writes, symptoms visible after initiation by a bona fide spiritual master. And that is important. So here we see that there are two types of associations. That we come in touch with very great personality who touches our heart, transforms our heart. And then there is a tangible, visible, understandable emotion which happens in the life of sadhaka. But then we see that if person is not serious, even he may associate with great personalities and still there is no transformation. So there is sometimes a association, casual association. The association can be incidental. He didn't want to go, but somehow he was given that association. And he did not take proper benefit of that association. So that also can happen. For example, when we go to the doctor we are full in receiving mode. That whatever doctor says, we are ready to go through. Even if it is costly, even if it is painful, even if it is take time, we are ready for it. But then, somebody who goes casually to doctor, sometimes some devotees, they feel that they should visit some 3-4 doctors and then decide that which one to choose. So, when somebody is casually meeting doctor, how are you, how things are, then he will not be benefited by that doctor. So doctor has to be approached, and then, so there is a tangible change, and then there is just a social interaction with spiritually advanced person. But then here we see that there is a tangible change in the life of a person after he is initiated. Okay, so what are the tangible changes one is supposed to have in our life after initiation? Because I remember when my initiation was there, then one of my friend was there, he also initiated. Then he was asked that, so yesterday you got initiated, so how is your experience? So he said, same only. There is no kind of. So then some other devotee was asked, how is your experience? He said, I feel very greatly responsible. It's like heavy burden like that. So there can be different ways by which we take this initiation or things like that. So let us understand what are the tangible changes should happen after initiation. Yes, Nalikant Prabhu is bubbling. Yeah, Mike is right.
One should be more responsible
Okay.
and more increase in surrenderance.
Okay. Okay, one should be responsible and surrendered. Good. Anything else? Yes. Okay, mic is limited, so even if there. Yeah.
This is a little bit funny, but I remember when I was initiated on Sita Navami, I think 4th of May 2017. So what happened, I think 2 years before I had joined the ashram, and somehow my resignation was cancelled from IB. And I was receiving, means my home so many times police were visiting, and somehow I was sending my brother, thoda case nipta ke aao. And somehow on the same day when I was initiated, it was heavy. ना उसको आना ही पड़ेगा, नहीं तो आपको लेके जाएंगे पुलिस वाले ना. ऐसे घर पे आ गए, मेरा भाई का भी नहीं चला, किसी no, they didn't listen to anyone. Now what to do? And it was just after 10 minutes of initiation. So, and they were not releasing me. So then, I went to brother Asbir, what to do? Then somehow I spoke to Prajari Guru and they said, go and talk to these guys. So when I went, I have some money left, 1,35,000, and they said, you have to exactly same amount they ask. Then, and they said, otherwise we'll not relieve you, and but still not be relieved. Then I said, okay, if you, then I asked Prajari Guru, what should I do? It's up to you whether you want to join back or not. Now I was testing, should I join back or not? It is a government job. If you don't work, still they will give you money. And then I thought, it's a trick of Maya, let me, kuch bhi ho jaye, let me pay. Just jitna paisa bacha tha, itna wahi pay karna tha. So then 1,35,000, it was my account, it was not coming. So I requested temple if they can help me, then I'll pay back. And they gave money. And then I went and everyone started. why you want to relieve, what are you going to do? Then I said, somehow there's a country wala. बोला कुछ तो गड़बड़ है कोई, even it's IB, so आतंकवादी वाला कुछ भी कनेक्शन तो नहीं है करके they started doing all those things. But on the same day, Krishna forced me to relieve from all those things. So, and then I realized that, I felt so light after that. So that was, I felt that now some material connection was there, somehow left in terms of money, and there was a hope of getting so we can. So it was material detachment. That's what I felt on the same within 10-15 minutes.
So that is a special mercy. So when the initiation is there, the way he was telling that one feels light, specifically after putting that banana in the fire. So, yeah. Anything else?
Change of attitude towards spiritual life, and becomes more responsible. And try to see everything in relation to Guru, that how much
So one becomes conscious of his own activities, because till now he was on his own. Now he is connected to Guru. Now whatever he do, either the blame or glory will go to Guru. Well, that's how we see the 8th chapter. 8th chapter name is before that? Next? 7th, not 8th. Son of Drona punished. It doesn't say Ashwatthama punished. It says son of Drona punished. Why like that? So, short. Drona is short. Then, unka beta. So, that's how when you do irresponsible activity, who is blamed? Spiritual master is blamed. So one becomes very cautious in terms of his activities, his words, his plans, whatever things he does. So then he doesn't just remain like before. It's like free bird, do whatever, speak whatever. No. So that change has to be there. One becomes more conscious and responsible. Yeah. So that is the difference between responsive and responsible. One is responsive, that something happens, and then you just give response. Don't care. Responsible means very carefully you respond. That is responsible. Whatever things comes. Okay.
What is it? I could not get it. Responsive.
Responsive means reflex response. Somebody says bad to you, you also say bad. Eat ka jawab patthar se nahi, like that. But then when you are initiated, you are representing Guru, then you will think before you respond.
Responsible.
He will respond responsibly in that. Okay.
This 5th shloka and 2nd shloka is almost same only. खाली last 2 words change. जैसे question मुझे वैसे ही answer.
Yeah. Okay. So because if you are not responsible, if you deal casually, because I still remember that was almost 12 years back. I was traveling in, it was from north only somewhere, our ISKCON Leads program was going on. And then we were traveling back, and then we were getting down in one place. So then, you see that when the station comes, everybody just packs up and lines up on the gate. and then everybody was, taking their luggage to the outside. And then we were almost around 15th in the row or something like that. So one devotee was there. He said that, let's go ahead. I said, and how can you go ahead? It's like, so many people are standing. We'll get down, huh? What is the problem? He said, no, I'll tell you. One has to be smart, he said. So then he tapped the next person, he said, bathroom jana hai. So then he gave the way. Next person, bathroom jana hai. And then he had already taken his bag. Bathroom jana hai, bathroom jana hai. Bathroom ke yahan pe khade ho gaye wo wahan pe. So people were seeing. I was behind, I didn't go. So next person only in front of me, he commented, this is how Asaram Bapu is in jail now. I was like, shocked. So immediately they kind of pull you down to downmost thing. So it is very important that how we behave. You may think that is smart, over smart, whatever. But if we are not careful, not responsible, then it is a dysphomy. It's like a blemish for Prabhupada, blemish for our spiritual master. They will see in very different angle. They will say, ISKCON can be aisi. No difference. So that's how he says here that there should be a tangible symptom. Okay. So we go to the text 6. Ekatmaja me janani Yoshin mudha cha kinkari Mayyatmaje anyagato Chakre snehanubandhanam. Yes.
I was the only son of my mother, who was not only a simple woman but a maid servant as well. Since I was her only offspring, she had no other alternative for protection. She bound me with the tie of affection.
Yeah. So he's talking about the mother. How that mother was alone, and then he was also alone. That both were alone. Narad Muni didn't even talk about his father. Have you seen it here? No mention of father. So she was serving, servant maid, and then Narad Muni was there, and then he says that because she was alone in the whole world, and he was also only offspring, Ekatmaja. Ekatmaja means only one offspring. So both were dependent on each other. And then he says here that Chakre Snehanu Bandhanam, that they both were tied by affectionate bondage. Like that. Yeah. So this is one very nice section which gives a very profound realization to us when we are also dealing with the affections of this world, because we are also connected with so many affectionate ties. When we are specifically, somebody is dedicating his life, then he also has to cut off many ties. Once This comes in Bible also. Jesus says that if somebody has to become preacher, one cannot become a preacher if he cannot tolerate the tears of his mother. Like that he says. So he says that that is a price one has to pay if somebody has to become preacher of any religion. So this is a you see that common thread of somebody leaving the world and taking shelter fully at the lotus feet of Krishna. Then he has to cut off his all ties. So here also we see that by mercy of these four Bhaktivedantas, he was so grounded to Krishna consciousness that very easily he could cut off that strong tie. Because here you see that he was alone, he was small, fully under his mother's protection. Mother also fully dependent on him only, because tomorrow he was supposed to become grown up and take care of her. So both were dependent on each other, and now she is going to leave her body, and then Narad Muni's detachment was tested, that how much he had understood the essence given by the Bhaktivedantas. Okay, text.
So,
Yes.
so when he is addressing his mother, so he is saying towards you, Janani and Kuntari. So that was sufficient. Then he used two adjectives, Yoshin and Mudha.
So Yoshin means women. Mudha, Prabhupada translated simple.
Foolish.
Yeah. In the translation, Prabhupada read simple. I also was trying to understand it. So the word to word he says foolish. In the translation, Prabhupada writes where it is. Who was not only a simple woman, but a maidservant. Or something like that. So sometimes these words are used in different context. They, like for example, here we should not feel that Narad Muni is kind of a bad words towards his mother or something like that. Not like that. So the scriptures sometimes will have such things. In between they had a big uproar about that thing is there, na? Stri Shudra Pashu or Nari Sab Tadan ke Adhikari. Dhol Gawar Shudra Stri Nari. That he says that these people need to be beaten up. Who? The Dhol, Shudra, Anpad, Pashu, Stri, like that. They should be beaten up. But then one devotee was telling that beaten up also means what? Beaten is not that you take and beat him to death. That is not only beating. For example, dhol. How you beat dhol? You take you break it or what? You beat in such a way that some good sound comes. So there is a way of beating it. Not that you beat to break. You don't beat to beat so that the dhol becomes like. So there is a way. For some purpose you beat it. To bring out some good sound you beat dhol. On particular place only, not that everywhere you beat. So then he was telling that all these four people need a disciplined guidance, disciplined beating, like that. That doesn't mean that you beat them to death. So although that word has come, beating, but that has to be understood in proper context. Similarly here also, so that proper context Prabhupada has captured for us, because Prabhupada knows that we will have this doubt. So Prabhupada has already translated it. Understanding. So Prabhupada writes that simple woman. Okay. So we'll go to the text 7. शाश्वतन्त्रान कल्पासीत् योगक्षेमं ममेच्छति ईशस्य हि वशे लोको योषादारुमयि यथा. Yeah.
She wanted to look after my maintenance properly, but because she was not independent, she was not able to do anything for me. The world is under the full control of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, everyone is like a wooden doll in the hands of a puppet master.
So this puppet thing comes many places. You have seen it? Where it comes? Kasthera puttali yatha nacha use mate. There also Prabhupada writes. Then Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami also at one place he writes that how the jiva's situation is. So this example of Kasthera puttali comes. So here also Narad Muni is talking about Yosha Daru Mayat. Daru means wood. So there he says that Ishasya he Vashe means yeah. So everything is under the control of providence. So he says that anything for me. Aswatantrata. She wanted a lot of good for me, but then she couldn't do much because she was just a maid servant. So here we see that many times the living entity has many good plans, many things to do, and he has a very good intentions also, but because he is governed, controlled by the higher superior powers, he is not able to do it many times. So that's how we see that not always we all succeed in all our plans. We see this also, this, we are able to see this. Okay. So this comes afterwards also, it comes here that in the 8th chapter King Yudhishthira Maharaj becomes little despondent after the 64 crore almost people were died, and then he becomes confused. We see that before the 18 days of very devastating battle, Arjun became confused, and then at the end his another brother became confused. So it's like one brother getting confused. So here he was confused, and then he was telling that what has happened, because I am the king and I am supposed to take care of them, but now they have been caused to death because of me only. So then lamentation was taken care by Bhishma. So that was done. Again he came under lamentation. You know when? Dhritarashtra. So when Dhritarashtra left by Vidura, he was frantically searching Dhritarashtra, because next day, every day he used to go, and then he was not there. So he felt very bad that because of him he left. That I was supposed to take care of him, but then now he's not there. Now he was telling that there is no superior left here who can bless me now. So like that he was talking about. And that time Narad Muni comes there also. So generally we see that wherever somebody is confused, Narad Muni comes. So when he was confused there, then he quotes this very nice shloka. He says, Kala karmam gunadhino dehoyam pancha bhautikaha kathamanyastu gopayet sarpagrasto yatha param. So he talks that everything is, what is that? Okay. So everything which he was thinking that who will, I did not maintain. That's how he left, feeling very dissatisfied. So Narad Muni practically chastised him with this verse. He says, you are talking about the maintenance. You think that you are maintaining Dhritarashtra. You think that you are maintaining this whole praja. He says here, Katham manyastu gopayet. You think that you are the Gopa. Gopa means the person who is not that covered boy. So gopayet means taking care. You are feeding them. So he says, Sarpagrasto yathaparam. That one who himself is under the already grasped by Kala. Already you are half inside the mouth of Kala. How can you take care of somebody else? So here also the same Ishasihi Vashe Loko, that when we ourselves are not independent, we ourselves are devoured by the time, but then we feel concern about others who are devoured by time. Like sometimes we feel concerned about parents getting old. वो चलना नहीं हो रहा है हमसे. We feel that what will happen, but then we don't remember that tomorrow I am going to be like that. My situation will be like that I will not be able to walk. I will not be able to eat. So that is the thing regarding our own selves, what to speak of others. So we see here that he is telling that she had many plans, but somehow she couldn't do anything because she was like a puppet in the hands of destiny. Text 8. अहं च तत् ब्रह्मकुले कुशिवान् तदुपेक्षया दिग्देशकाला व्युत्पन्नो बालकः पञ्चहायनः.
When I was a mere child of 5 years, I lived in a Brahmana school. I was dependent on my mother's affection and had no experience of different lands.
Yeah. So there was a Brahmana school where mother and this child, they were serving. Text 9. Ekada nirgatam geha duhantim दुहन्तिं निशिगां पथि सर्पोदशपदात् स्पृष्टः कृपणां कालचोदितः.
Once upon a time, my poor mother, when going out one night to milk a cow, was bitten on the leg by a serpent, influenced by the supreme time.
Yeah. So Prabhupada writes very nice purport. It's a small purport, but then you see the first line. See? Yeah.
This is the way of dragging a sincere.
Okay.
That is a way of dragging a sincere soul nearer to God.
Yeah. So Prabhupada writes that is the way of dragging a sincere soul nearer to God. So the Lord was planning for Narad Muni. Now Narad Muni, his life was going on, but now Narad Muni's life was planned by Krishna. Krishna had a different plan. And that's how the mother left her body by the snake bite. So here he says that that's how the Lord drags his sincere soul towards him. So we see that, okay, there are two, one you give here and one you give here. Okay, it's okay. Okay. Question is, when we drag somebody,
Somebody is not moving ahead.
somebody is reluctant to move, then that person is dragged. So similarly, sometimes although somebody has come to Krishna consciousness, but then somebody doesn't want to leave comfortable Krishna consciousness to take on some higher level of Krishna consciousness, then he is pulled by the Lord. Yeah. So somebody may be sincere, and that's how somebody has shaven up, somebody has cut off all the ties, and somebody has done so many things. So that shows some sincerity. So the way Krishna saw sincerity in Putna also, that she has come like a mother. So similarly, some devotees, when they are planning to surrender to Krishna, but then because of some anartha, because of some their own mental blocks, they are not able to do it. So somebody is dragged means two things. One, that he doesn't have the enough desire to surrender to Krishna. Or sometimes after coming also he may look somewhere else other than desire to surrender to Krishna. In both cases, Krishna pulls him. That's what here he says. That is the way of dragging a sincere soul nearer to God. That Prabhupada writes, I think this is in Nectar of Instruction, introduction only. That Prabhupada writes that उसके बाद आते हैं. He says that devotional service once begun, one is dragged to perfection. So dragged to perfection means that once you have started chanting Hare Krishna, taking prasad, associating with devotees, then now you are rinsed in the hands of Krishna. So till the point you have not started doing that, Krishna doesn't take much interest in that. But once you start devotional service, he says that practitioner is dragged by Krishna to the perfection. So dragged means, you have seen, sometimes children, they don't want to come home, they are playing, and the parents catch his hand, and then he is almost like so stubborn, he doesn't walk, he wants to be there. Parents, they just pull him. So something like that happens to a sincere sadhaka, that Krishna will drag him towards him. That is the glory of devotional service. That means, even if we have desired once that let me serve Krishna, Krishna take it very seriously. Afterwards we may have some other desires. Krishna says, no problem, at least once you decide, so let me do my job. So here says that is the way dragging a sincere soul nearer to him. So we see that Nityanand Prabhu also dragged whom? Okay. Raghunath Das Goswami forcefully gave his mercy. He said, Chor, why are you running? Come here, I'll punish you. And then forcefully gave him mercy. And then gave him punishment also. What are the punishment? Chidadhi. That. So that is the nature of the Lord. That forcefully he catches, gives mercy. Even if he goes little out here there. What is Chaitanya Charitamrita shlokas? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, so he says that the so Charanamrita Diya Vishaya Bhulaya. That Ami Vigya Ei Murkha. He is a Murkha, he doesn't know what is good for him. Now he has come to devotional service and asking something else only, not devotional service. He is fool, but I am not fool. I know what is good for him. So I will give him whatever brings him to me. That I will do. So that's how the once begun, the success is guaranteed. It's like that. So we should be very confident that once we have begun, the success is because Krishna and Guru, they are both by our side and they are far more powerful than our resistance. Like that. We may have our small resistance, but then if we just remain in their protection, they will take care of all other procedures. Yeah. Text 10. तदातहमीशस्य भक्तानां शमभिप्सतः अनुग्रहं मन्यमानः प्रातिष्ठं दिशमुत्तराम्.
I took this as the special mercy of the Lord, who always desires benediction for his devotees, and so thinking, I started for the north.
Yeah. Can read the purport also.
Confidential devotees of the Lord see in every step a benedictory direction of the Lord. What is considered to be an odd or difficult moments in the mundane sense is accepted as special mercy of the Lord. Mundane prosperity is a kind of material fever, and by the grace of the Lord, the temperature of this material fever is gradually diminished, and the spiritual health is obtained step by step. Mundane people misunderstand it.
Yeah. So this is very important shloka, which talks about purport. Prabhupada writes the first line only. Confidential devotees of the Lord see in every step a benedictory direction of the Lord. So he says that who sees benedictory directions? Confidential devotees. Who are confidential devotees? Who's Okay, so let us understand this. Who is this confidential devotees? Because we all want to be confidential devotees, right? So that we can see the benedictory hand of the Lord in his every step. So we see that now Narad Muni, because he had only one person in the whole creation, and that is his mother. And that mother has left her body because of sudden unfortunate incident. If we see that any ordinary person would be in that place, and that as a child, what he will do? He will be so depressed, so unhappy. so full of kind of complaints, ill feeling, even towards the Lord. And he may become very kind of revengeful, he may become very faithless, disheartened, whatever. So that is possible. But then here we see that he took a very glorious step of making that tragedy into a stepping stone to achieve Krishna consciousness. What would have been a tragedy turned into a best incident to bring him close to Krishna. Because we see that in our life, many such incidences come which will bring us close to Krishna. Now, many times we feel that such incidences should happen to me, right? Generally, we see that when somebody is in difficulty, people feel that God should do some miracle in my life, because now I'm in great trouble, and then there is a desire that something miraculous should happen, and then Lord should save me. So here, Narad Muni, now he was like purified, very nicely dedicated. Now, when the snake is biting the mother, Narad Muni, in ordinary terms, should have thought that how God should have saved the situation by doing some miracle, because God can do that miracles. So, generally, when this kind of miracles are expected, you have seen that people, they expect miracles. When they are little religious and they are in trouble, they feel that let Lord do some miracle and show that how Lord is great. So for them, Lord is great when He does miracles in their life. You have seen that, such people, specifically religious people. Even spiritualists also sometimes, they may expect like that. That so much trouble is happening in my life, why Lord is not intervening? So there is a underlying assumption. You know what? They say that, see, Prahlad Maharaj was suffering so much and Narasimhadev appeared. I am also suffering like that. So what is the assumption? So the assumption is that I am very great personality, and then why Lord is not coming? I am almost Prahlad Maharaj part 2. And then why the Narasimhadev is not appearing till now? So when people expect miracles, their assumption is that they are very great. And then they are so great that Lord should do some intervention. And that's not the perfect mindset. And many times when the Lord doesn't intervene, and which He doesn't many times, and then they become faithless, then they become like that. So we see that, that's how we see that there are two types of atheisms. One atheism is philosophical atheism. That philosophically you have some issues with God. You feel that, if there are so many sufferings, how can God exist? That is a philosophical atheism. But then there is a psychological atheism. Psychological atheism means God did not help me. That means He is not there. Like that. So I don't care for God. He is not there only. And you will find good amount of people in the second category. When they are battered by this material world, by their own karma only, but then they become very averse to God. They feel that my religion is atheism from today because God did not help me. So we see that here, specifically in this case, that although there was a failure, it was a big tragedy in the life of small boy. But then that tragedy did not brought this consciousness that why did not God help me? Where is He? How much I served? How much I am innocent? How much I am in need of help? Why God is not helping? But then he felt that that is the help of God. That He has taken my mother. That itself is the help of Lord. I don't need help to come out of it. So that is a very high level of consciousness. Even we can see ourselves, try to understand if we are in the position of Narad Muni, what would be our consciousness? We could think like this, that Lord is so great, and then very nice, thank you. It's very difficult. So we see that that's what is one of the tangible change happens after initiation. That one can see the hand of the Lord, hand of his Guru, making him advance in Krishna consciousness. That he can see things from higher perspective, not just from the smaller perspective. So that's why when there are failures, when there are tragedies, then Prabhupada has quoted this shloka so many times. Tatte nukampam sushamikshamano bhunjan evatmakrutam vipakam tatvat krutpurbhir hridadan namaste jive tayo muktipade sadaya bhak. So there he says that when the tragedy happens, the devotee with his body, words and mind, he offers respectful obeisances to the Supreme Lord. And he thanks with his body, mind and words that it's very nice. Thank you. So, and then he says that is the qualification for going back home, back to Godhead. So that means every one of us will be going through that test before we go back home, back to Godhead. That tragedy will come. It may come or will come. It will definitely come. So that's how we are doing this Bhakti Vaibhav, so that we can pass that test also. So it will come. That I still remember one of the sannyasi was telling in his class, he was talking about this shloka, that how the Lord takes away everything. Yeah, that harishe tad dhanam shanti. So then he was talking that dhana means something which is valuable. He said that Lord will surely take that valuable things away to make you helpless. So that helplessly, intently, you can take shelter of Krishna. And then he says, but now you all are brahmacharis, what dhana you have? But then brahmacharis also have dhana. Their counselees, their prestige, their whatever. So then he was telling that it is not maybe, it is 100% that this tragedy will happen. That they will give you that purification, where you will feel that, oh, Krishna, you are only my shelter now. I thought that others are shelter. But then, so this test which Narad Muni is going through, that will be for everybody. Anybody who wants to come close to Krishna, like that. In Nectar of Devotion also, Prabhupada writes that when this sloka comes, Tattenu Kampam Sushavikshmano. So there he writes that devotees should not expect immediate relief from the miseries of this material world. Prabhupada writes that devotee doesn't expect immediate relief from material sufferings. Generally, we feel that so much heat is there. Why I'm in ashram now? I have surrendered to Krishna. So devotees tolerate. We have surrendered to Krishna to some extent, and we have come and we have left so many things, and still there is so much anarthas troubling. There are so many devotees troubling. So I still remember 20 years back I was sitting in Brahmachari class. Brahmachari class was going on about tolerance. So Radhesham Prabhu was giving. So then he said, what devotees have to tolerate? And then everybody was telling heat and cold, and then honor, dishonor, this, that, whatever, whatever. And one devotee said, devotees. So that we have to tolerate sometimes devotees. So then he was telling that yes, so that is the first step. We feel that I have to tolerate devotees, but when he becomes mature, then he understands that actually devotees are tolerating me. It's not that I am tolerating devotees. So in the beginning, we feel like that devotees are tolerating. But then, when we progress, then we understand that actually I am creating so much of trouble because of my being here to devotees. Then we feel grateful for their association. So here, we see that he says, anugraham manyamanaha, that he thought it as a special benediction. So how this special benediction of seeing that every step is a benedictory direction of the Lord. Okay, so we can make just 3 groups. 3 each one group, and okay, possible?
Yeah.
Okay, quickly. And what we are discussing here is how we get this consciousness of anugraham manyamanaha. That how we take the difficulties, troubles, sufferings as Lord's mercy. What is to be done? How it happens? Question is clear? Question is, we want that stage, that everything, whatever happens, we take it as a mercy of the Lord. But how that happens? What is the secret? Or it is a mental adjustment. Okay, it's not a mental adjustment. It has to happen actually, that we feel that it is Lord's mercy. Okay, quick. We have only 4 minutes. So you can write down some points so that others also will be benefited. What things we are supposed to do to get this consciousness? Four also will do. If it is 3 or 4, it's okay.
South Indian Brahman. मैंने बैठो ना आपको देख के बात करो बात करो पीछे
दोनों स्पीड से चाहिए।
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So, actually, this is the very important consciousness one should have it. Although it is difficult, but it's very fortunate consciousness that we can see the Lord's hand in all our activities. So let us hear from the illustrious Bhakti Vaibhav participants. Yes. Yeah.
माइक दो।
Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
So, Prabhuji, regarding my joining, I felt that Lord Krishna has hand before, for that, because my father and grandfather were technician in Maharashtra Electricity Board, so they were on big post. So, money was, a lot of money and power was there. So, but somehow or other, from 2009 till 2020, after every 3 years, one member of my family they are pass out. So first my grandfather, then my chacha, then father, then grandmother. So actually I was thinking COVID times only that actually they were not there. That's why maybe I'm able to join. So Krishna made this arrangement. Otherwise they पूरे शक्ति लगा देते थे वो बाहर निकालने के नहीं ज्वाइन करने के लिए. I saw that actually this is good only. Krishna made all these things so that I can peacefully join and little bit participate in Prabhupada's movement.
Thank you for that. So we are discussing here that how we come to this stage. That sometimes such kind of instances gives us that faith that yes, Krishna is in the control and he wants me to join. He wants me to advance. He wants me to take shelter like that. Thank you. Yes, behind. Yes.
Krishna. Prabhuji, in our discussion, that point came what Ananta Krishna Maharaj today had mentioned in the morning in Bhagavatam class about His Holiness Radha Govind Maharaj, that when they took the doctor to Maharaj, Maharaj said that I am actually not unhappy or feeling sad or having some difficulty about my disease. Rather, I am happy because now I can sit in Vrindavan in one place and can do very nicely my bhajan.
Yeah.
So this is how also a pure devotee's response is towards any problems which he has.
Yeah. I still remember Maharaj, His Holiness Radha Govind Maharaj was giving class here in Bhagavatam after that stroke. So he had come and then he was not able to walk and things like that. Then he gave Bhagavatam class. In the Bhagavatam class he was telling. He said, भगवान का बहुत कृपा है कि ये ऐसा हुआ है हमारे साथ. और बोले कि कोई बोल सकता है कि ये आपका शायद आपका पर्सनल मन होगा ऐसा. बोले ऐसा नहीं है, क्योंकि जब से ये ऐसे हुआ है हमारा भगवान के प्रति स्मरण और बढ़ गया है. तो ये भगवान का कृपा ही है और कुछ नहीं है. ऐसे बोले तो. So he only can confidently say like that. Okay. So he was not like some intellectual adjustment. He was telling that. Yeah, I don't know, but maybe it is Krishna's grace Maybe, may not like that. He was not like that. He was very confident that this is made by Krishna only. That I was roaming here, there, so many places. So Krishna wants me to in Vrindavan. So he has given this thing, and he was telling also, if this is not Krishna's mercy, then why the Krishna's remembrance has increased? So he was like, he was very definite that Hare Krishna, that this is Krishna's mercy only. There is no other. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So he was telling that how is it that Krishna remembrance, Krishna's things have increased. Okay, somebody else?
What is the question which we not able to understand?
Question is this, that we want this consciousness. How one develops this consciousness? Sometimes it may happen accidentally. But how that consciousness is developed throughout every tragedy we can see as Krishna's mercy of the Lord.
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, I was just thinking both these cases of Advaita Karuna Prabhu and Maharaj. So how they are able to, in both cases look same, how they are able to take it as mercy, because something, what happened with them, that thing they valued much higher. He valued joining and Maharaj valued remembering Krishna as something very high achievement. Because of that awareness, because of that cognizance, deeply in the consciousness, because of that, those things happened, were taken as Krishna's mercy.
Becomes our wealth. When Krishna consciousness becomes so impelling, when Krishna consciousness becomes our prime mover, then whatever other things happen, they become subservient. That, okay, thank you. Yes?
Hare Krishna. So, in our discussion, we were getting by special mercy of Krishna, we get that special consciousness.
Haribol. Okay.
And having humility quality of humility, that whatever is happening because of my karma, it is happening. So Krishna is providing such opportunity so that I can absorb more. Quality of humility brings in our discussion.
In this point also, what Nimananda just said, we discussed. We thought of the example of Rukmini Devi, that she was so much wanting Krishna, okay, she thought that even if I have to do austerity and Krishna feels that I am not qualified, I have to leave this body, I will take again another body, perform tapasya, like there's thousands of lifetimes also, if I have to sacrifice, I will do so. So intense, so valuing Krishna's, attaining Krishna to be the greatest achievement. Rukmini Devi is also an example.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Yes,
Prabhuji, when devotee sadhaka see Krishna's hand in small things, even something good happening in his life, and he start practicing this Krishna's hand, so he has appreciation. Then in such situation also he could see that this phase of life is also Krishna's grace for my further progress in the spiritual life. So that requires practicing. And the same simultaneously when go through Srimad Bhagavatam and see how Krishna, how devotees respond in different situations, how they go through. So that also gave him faith and appreciation of Krishna's reciprocation in different ways, in different situations.
Okay. Good. Thank you. So, he's telling that the normal practice of our devotional services practices, that brings that consciousness. Okay. Nice. Yes, Madhusundar.
दो माइक है ना, इधर का माइक
When we read the scriptures to understand the compassionate nature of Krishna, Lord, whatever he does with his devotees for good only, then whatever happens with us, we can able to take that in that end.
Okay. By having a real life story of this. When we see Narad Muni's life, when we see Bali Maharaj, any other life like that, then we also get some idea that maybe this is also Krishna's mercy, okay? Yes.
In addition to this, Prabhuji, we can even, when we hear and read about previous acharyas or current acharyas of ISKCON, so that also gives faith. Like we heard about His Holiness Karan Kamisar Maharaj, that how he got गोली लगा तो भी सेवा कर रहे थे कंटिन्यू, और उसके बाद भी कंटिन्यू किया. यहाँ प्रभुपाद कहा कि 43 इयर्स स्ट्रगल के बाद उनको मिला सक्सेस, तो वो भी इंक्रीज कर रहा है फेथ की. करंट आचार्य सब प्रीवियस his life was full of struggle, so all this also helps us to develop this. And one more point I would add is कि when we discuss the problems, current problems we are having with some senior or equal friend, that also हमारा नहीं, अगर तभी उस लेवल पे कॉन्शियसनेस, तो वो दे देते हैं, हेल्प करते हैं.
Yeah. So, by the reading of the previous acharyas and things like that, some understanding comes, ki what it is, like that. Okay. Yes.
Tapasya, voluntarily when you take some tapasya, anyway it is going to come tragedy. Voluntarily, if you take up some risks in the service of Krishna, then we may get habituated or keep the consciousness in right way when the reality comes.
Okay. When it is taken as a tapasya, and then by going to that tapasya it will be purified to have come to this consciousness. Okay. What else? Okay.
Hare Krishna. So, when we follow our authority or spiritual master, so if we are following them without any other consideration, so then in this kind of consciousness, that complete surrenderness that comes, and then we can visualize that anything, whatever is happening, so that is the mercy of the Lord, even the bad situation. So I'm just quoting one. So this is Maharaj. Maharaj wrote in 1981. So he wrote in 1981 in the meaning of Vyas Puja. So because Srila Prabhupada left, so after that many years, all the Maharaj, they were feeling Prabhupada's absence, and they were missing him. So this time in 1981, His Holiness Bhakticharya Swami Guru Maharaj, he wrote the meaning of Vyas Puja, this statement. He writes that, do not deceive yourself thinking that I am gone. I instructed you not to trust your senses. So do not trust your senses and think that I am gone. If you love me, then find out where I am. So, although it was a situation like Prabhupada is not here, but still they have to think that yes, Prabhupada is here, and if we love Prabhupada, so we have to find him. So that is understanding this situation as a special mercy of the Lord and becoming more attached to Srila Prabhupada.
Yeah. So this is another example of how we take the same situation as mercy of the Lord, mercy of Prabhupada. That I remember on the 40th years of this anniversary, this question was asked to His Holiness Dhiraj Swami Maharaj, that because Prabhupada was so much struggled for this Hare Krishna land, and then it was almost complete, and then Prabhupada just missed by just in November, and then it was in January. So it was like just 2-3 months gap. So he was telling that that would have been kind of a great occasion when Prabhupada would have been there and did the first arati to Radharas Bihari after shifting to the new temple. So then he was telling that actually for us, he was telling that we had more remembrance of Prabhupada, and then we were like, it was not that Prabhupada had left and then we were. So he said that the whole atmosphere was such, that Prabhupada was personally present, there in that function, like that Prabhupada. He was telling that it was, we didn't feel the absence of Prabhupada. He said that we felt the presence of Prabhupada, that festival. So that's how, for any sincere disciple, it comes like that. Okay, thank you. Okay, anything? Yes.
पॉइंट 9 तक रोका है
या
तो जो बोल रहे थे कि कैसे because Krishna is all merciful and if the difficulties are given by Krishna only, then we can see that how Krishna showed more mercy after those difficult situations to some devotees. Like Krishna, we were telling to Bhishma Dev, he was kept in difficult situation by Krishna, but Lord Krishna came personally at the end and was with him. Same with Jatayu also, like that. So we can see that although temporarily it is a difficult situation arranged by Krishna, but the real mercy which is shown beyond that difficulty, we have to understand that.
Yeah. So the real mercy comes later, and sometimes I was hearing one lecture. Maharaj is telling that when we are going through difficulties, sometimes we may not be able to understand that this is Krishna's mercy. Your health crisis, relationship crisis, so many crises. So when you are going through it, you are just suffering. We may not have that consciousness. But then he was the whole discussion was going about the Gopa, how he has climbed up to spiritual world, and then he was with Krishna. This comes in Brihad Bhagavatamrita. So when he meets Krishna, that whole pastime is given, that how that pastime was so intensely emotional between Krishna and him. Krishna was crying, Gopa is crying, they both are fainting in great love. Sometimes Krishna is falling off, Gopa is putting him up, and then after that Gopa falls off, Krishna is pulling him. And that is happening, that happens for some time, then they both regain their consciousness. Krishna catches his hands and then starts glorifying that I was missing you so much. And then he said, I know how much you have to go through to come here. And then he starts counting all the difficulties he had gone through, what type of austerities he did, what type of choices he made, although they were very difficult. Like that, he starts counting. So, Maharaj is telling there that happens to us also. That today's difficulty, when we meet Krishna, Krishna will quote that as one of the highlight when we meet, that this was the crisis, but then you dealt it very nicely. And Krishna will be so pleased with that. So we can see that whatever difficulties we are there, they are like tickets for us to spiritual world. One ticket you take, and then we are just progressing ahead. Okay, anybody left? Yes.
This, the fifth canto, this Rahugana says to Maharaj Bharat that Rahugana ita tapasana yati. Devotees were telling about that by doing tapasya, austerity. But there he says very graphical that no cheya nirpana gritva no chandasa naiva jalagni surya vina mahatpada rajobhishekam. But unless one is served, and we see in the 10th canto how Sandipani Muni blessed Krishna and Sudama, that because you have served me so nicely and you have cooperatively, all the imports of Vedas will be revealed to you. So here we are talking about how this remembrance will be able to come. So we can see from this pastime.
Yeah.
Krishna Sudama.
So this is one of the important point, that unless we are blessed and given special mercy by the great personality, this kind of consciousness becomes very difficult. So, anybody has remained? Any group? Okay.
Hare Krishna. In our devotional practice also, many hurdles are coming, but when we do pure devotional service, that all hurdles becomes the mercy of God.
Yeah. Thank you. Anybody else? All the groups are covered? Okay. Done?
This group is there.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna. Krishna. In the case of Chitraketu Maharaj, Mother Karti Party curse, Chitraketu Maharaj, he accepted that curse, and he has a mercy of Lord. And later on, when he became Vritrasura, he was aware that Lord arranged for him. Still, he was in pure consciousness, he will go back home, back to God.
Okay. So is another example of Vritrasura, that although he was getting killed by his enemy, but still he was feeling very happy to be killed by Indra. So Prabhupada also very nicely tells this in one of the purport. Let us hear this. You are able to see? So this is 6.1.16. Prabhupada gives the formula for having this consciousness. You all please repeat. Na tatha yagavan rajan bhuyeta tapadibhihi yatha krishnarpita pranas tat purusha nishevaya. Somebody read translation.
My dear king, if a sinful person engages in the service of a bona fide devotee of the Lord and thus learns how to dedicate his life unto the lotus feet of Krishna, he can be completely purified. One cannot be purified merely by undergoing austerity, penance, brahmacharya, and the other methods of atonement I have previously described.
Yeah, so here very important word comes is Krishnarpita prana tat purusha nishevaya. Somebody who is a pure devotee, qualification of that pure devotee is Krishnarpita prana and tat purusha nishevaya. So doing personal service to such Krishnarpita prana devotee, one. Okay. Somebody read the purport? Go ahead.
Tat Purusha refers to a preacher of Krishna consciousness, such as the spiritual master. Srila Narottam Das Thakur has said, Chhadiya Vaishnava Seva Nistar Paye Chekeva. without serving a bona fide spiritual master, an ideal Vaishnava who can be delivered from the clutches of Maya. This idea is also expressed in many other places. Srimad Bhagavatam 5.5.2 says, Mahat Sevam Dwaram Ahur Vimuktehe. If one desires liberation from the clutches of Maya, one must associate with a pure devotee, Mahatma. A Mahatma is one who engages 24 hours daily in the loving service of the Lord. As Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 9.13, Mahatmanastu ma partha devim prakritimashritah vajanti ananyamanaso jnatva bhutadimam vyam. O son of Pratha, those who are not deluded, the great souls, are under the protection of the divine nature. They are fully engaged in devotional service. Because they know me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, original and inexhaustible. Thus, the symptom of a Mahatma is that he has no engagement other than service to Krishna. One must render service to a Vaishnava in order to get freed from sinful reactions, revive one's original Krishna consciousness, and be trained in how to love Krishna. This is the result of Mahatma Seva. Of course, if one engages in the service of a pure devotee, the reactions of one's sinful life are vanquished automatically. Devotional service is necessary not to drive away an insignificant stock of sins, but to awaken our dormant love for Krishna. Fog is vanquished at the first glimpse of sunlight. One's sinful reactions are automatically vanquished as soon as one begins serving a pure devotee. No separate endeavor is required.
So here he says that as the fog is vanquished at the first glimpse of sunlight, one's sinful reactions are automatically vanquished as soon as one begins, not completes, not perfect. He says even as soon as one begins serving a pure devotee, his all sinful life is taken care. Yeah, go ahead.
The word Krishnarpita Prana refers to a devotee who dedicates his life to serving Krishna, not to being saved from the path of hellish life. A devotee is Narayana Parayana or Vasudev Parayana, which means that the path of Vasudev or the devotional path is his life and soul. Narayana Para Sarve Na Kutaschana Bibhyati. Srimad Bhagavatam 6.17.28. Such a devotee is not afraid of going anywhere. And there is a path toward liberation in the higher planetary systems and a path towards the hellish planets. But a Narayana Para devotee is unafraid wherever he is sent. He simply wants to remember Krishna wherever he may be. Such a devotee is unconcerned with hell and heaven. He is simply attached to rendering service to Krishna. When a devotee is put into hellish conditions, he accepts them as Krishna's mercy. Tattenu kampam susamikshamana. He does not protest. Oh, I am such a great devotee of Krishna. Why have I been put into this misery? Instead, he thinks, this is Krishna's mercy. Such an attitude is possible for a devotee who engages in the service of Krishna's representative. This is the secret of success.
Ribol. So he says that this is Krishna's mercy, and such an attitude is possible for a devotee who engages in service of Krishna's representative. And this is the secret of success. So Prabhupada very nicely talks about that Krishna Arpita Prana. That when we are surrendered to such Krishna Arpita Prana devotee, and then specifically Prabhupada writes the first line only. He says Tat Purusha refers to a preacher of Krishna consciousness, such as spiritual master. So when somebody is serving Krishna through this preaching movement, and that's how we see that today's all Prabhupada disciples are so at that such a fag end of life, although they are so old physically, but then their desire to serve Krishna is not old. That is like ever fresh now also. So such Krishna Arpita Prana devotees, if we take shelter, then the first thing happens is all the impurities in terms of sinful activities, they are gone. And second, by Krishna's mercy, he gets this consciousness that anugrahyamana. The thing he sees that anugraha. That because we see that when we are grateful, then the path of Krishna consciousness becomes very easy. Otherwise, so many distractions will come from inside out, like that. So if somebody becomes like this Narad Muni, and there is no dearth of difficulties in this material world, there are so many difficulties. But then every difficulty becomes stepping stone. Every difficulty brings us close to Krishna. Every difficulty impels us to pray to Krishna. Every difficulty brings us more close to devotees. Every difficulty brings more opportunities to take care of Krishna. Every difficulty brings more opportunity to take help of devotees. Every difficulty brings, whether it is physical difficulty, mental difficulty, emotional difficulty. But then we understand that I am dependent on Krishna. I am dependent on devotees. So, for the conditioned soul, this dependency may not be very welcomed. But then, for a sadhaka, that is very much welcomed. When he feels that I am dependent. And that is very nice. That I am dependent on devotees for my advancement. I am dependent on scriptures, I am dependent on Guru, I am dependent on. So, this kind of consciousness which is talked here by Narad Muni, that although his mother died, but then he didn't take it negatively. He was very positively taking that as a Krishna's special mercy. Not just tapasya, that maybe what to do. No, he said that is Krishna's mercy, that Krishna wants me to now come quickly to him. So now we have reached till 10. Okay, so we should go by little more. So in our, this is 1:30, na?
Yes.
Okay. So the next section starts, which is also very nice. The travel, meditation and vision of the Lord. So there are 9 verses, 11 to 19. Very nice, which talks about how Narad Muni traveled, and then what was his vision of the Lord, how he was so wonderful. And then the next section, 20 to 25, that is also very powerful. Lord's instructions to Narad Muni. So that we'll cover in the second thing. Okay. So another announcement, that by somehow Krishna's inconceivable will, I was not supposed to be sitting here, troubling you, but, because multiple preachers were not available. Even I requested our Vamshadan Prabhu, but then he was also couldn't be available on these dates. So that's how I landed up here. And I told him that this 14th has come as the... So by devotee's mercy, if you have come to Kopargaon, that we had a land purchased 15 years back almost by Mukund Madhav Prabhu that time. before even I landed here in Juhu, thinking that something will happen in future. So Krishna mercifully has fulfilled some desires of his. That there is a new Kopargaon choice has appeared there. And then that is about to be opened on 14th. So that date was already decided, and then this whole dynamics happened about the dates and things like that. So I asked Vamshodhan Prabhu that this one day I will not be able to come. So then he said, okay, then if that is the case, we can cover that on other days. So 14th, that means day after tomorrow, there will be off for our Bhakti Vaibhava. You can study and do other things. And those who wants to come to Kopargaon will be happy to make all the arrangements to go and come. So you all are welcomed.
Class will be there.
Huh?
Class will be there.
Okay. So the program is such that morning 10:30 that program starts. Of the His Holiness Ananta Krishna Maharaj is coming. Devakinandan Prabhu couldn't come because he has to go some other place. Mukund Madhav will be there, Ramrup will be there, many other senior devotees will be there, and many other here there devotees also will come. So it will be nice. And so one thing is there that some of the devotees need to go there little early, because you can imagine that their opening things are there just in one day, and I am sitting here, they all are cursing me because last moment, as every ISKCON project is like that 50% of the project is finished in last 1 month, 2 months, like that. It's like that always. So many things are still going on there. So phones are coming here and there. So I had one request for tomorrow, so that I personally and other devotees also need to go early that evening, because around 5 hours it takes to go there. So we have arranged one 15-seater bus to take devotees, so that tomorrow they will be there from the beginning for the services and opening ceremony. So it takes 5 hours. So even if you have to reach by around 8 o'clock also, you have to start from here by 3 or something. And if we start by 4, then we'll reach by 9:30, like that. So then our sessions happens 11 to 1:30, and then 2:30 to 4:30. So 4:30 will be a little late. So I just wanted to request that can we reduce that break time, so that we can finish it early, so that devotees can then go early.
10:30 to 3 we can have.
Huh?
10:30 to 3. Start with
We can start early, take the first session, we can start early, we can start early.
Okay, 10:30 you may be okay for others. 10:30 means you will come. So okay, so 10:30 we start, and then we give a small break, and then we go ahead. Okay? Okay. Hare Krishna. Attendance. आदित्य राम प्रभु, अद्वैत करुणा प्रभु, अक्षोभ्य प्रभु,